We are also joined by Captain Amit Singh. He is the Fellow of the Royal Aeronautical Society and also the founder of Safety Matters Foundation. Thank you so much, sir, for taking out your time and for speaking to Newsx. Captain, I want to understand from you, firstly, this is a very serious incident that has come to light, and now the outgoing CEO of Air India has been summoned. We are also looking at France's accident investigating agency also joining in this probe. We are also looking at Airbus joining in this probe. What do you make of it? All right, we seem to have lost that connection with Captain Singh. We'll try to reconnect. Until then, let's take in some breaking news coming our way. Well, a key meeting is currently underway at the Ministry of Civil Aviation in Delhi over the Air India Phuket-Delhi flight incident. Officials from the Aircraft Accident Investigation Bureau, or the AAIB, and the Directorate General of Civil Aviation, or DGCA, are present at the meeting. Air India CEO Campbell is also attending the crucial meeting, and the discussions are focused on the Air India Phuket-Delhi flight that reportedly experienced a sudden loss of altitude during severe turbulence. The meeting comes as authorities continue to examine the circumstances surrounding the incident and the airline's safety response. Let me go across to Atul for more on this. Atul, if you can take us through the details of this meeting that is currently underway.
Well, yes, what we're learning is that, the key officials from DGCA, the Directorate General of Civil Aviation, which initially took the, reacted to the matter, and then we saw that the investigation was later on forwarded to AAIB because the DGCA classified this particular incident as a serious incident, and as soon as the DGCA classifies the incident as a serious incident, then at the same time AAIB gets involved into it because that's the part of the procedure when AAIB takes over the matter and then they further investigate what possibly caused the whole incident to happen. Now, because of that particular fact, this whole incident obviously happened on the 4th of August, and now we are seeing that there has been a lot of discussions and movement around the whole issue. We have seen developments regarding captain rope test as well happening, and then we saw international investigators from the France's security agency, the PEA, as well as the Airbus also being roped in for the whole investigation. Now, what we're given to understand is that the ministry is right now asking the CEO of Air India, Campbell, who is obviously the outgoing CEO because his tenure ends on October 1st. He is being asked to explain some of the possible underplay that Air India as well as the captains did during immediately after the incident. Because if you remember some of the accounts that we have received from some of the passengers who were on board the particular flight was that the captains of the Air India did try to in fact underplay the incident by saying that.
Atul, I'll request you to stay on with us. Captain Amit Singh is back with us on this broadcast. Captain Singh, thank you so much. I want to understand what you make of this entire incident and also the fact that now the probe is underway. We have Air India's outgoing CEO also being summoned. Currently, a meeting is underway at the DGCA. We have a lot of officials present over there as well.
So, as per definition, this is an accident, not a serious incident, as has been notified by the PIB in their last statement, because one of the requirements to meet with an accident criteria is if there is a serious injury. Serious injury means anybody who's hospitalized for more than 48 hours. So there are cabin crew who have been hospitalized for more than 48 hours. So this should be categorized as an accident, which means the probe becomes larger to an organization level and deeper. That is why probably the accountable manager or the CEO has been summoned by DGCA or AIB. The regulations also entail that whoever made the decision to continue or would take whatever decision has to be summoned so that they know the reason for this decision. So if the operations control on the ground gave an advice to the captain that it is better to continue to Delhi rather than landing at Lucknow or diverting to Calcutta or Bhubaneswar, then what are the reasons for that? if the passengers were so grievously hurt, you are putting their lives at risk just to get your aircraft back to base, a maintenance base. So those aspects have to be analyzed. So that is why the airline is under investigation now for their decisions, not just the captain's decision. So it is at an organization level, and that is why I say an accident goes deeper into a root cause analysis. Was there any fear that the captain had of reporting defects, or was the rest adequate in the previous layover at Phuket, which was the minimum rest that they had got, and both flights were under window of circadian low, which means they were affected or could be affected by possible fatigue. Their reactions could be affected by fatigue. So all these aspects have to be looked at. The technical part, of course, while we are hearing that there could be a triple hydraulic failure, that is not a correct terminology. Hydraulic failure is when the system has actually stopped producing adequate power. So there could be false warnings. So these are computerized aircrafts, and they are prone to false warnings. And it is a part of the analysis of the crew to differentiate between a false warning and a real warning. Even the minimum equipment list has a separate section for false and real warnings. So a software glitch which needs to be investigated by both Airbus and the investigation bureau, the BEA of France, because there could be other aircrafts affected by the same software and the software glitch. The glitch is one part which could have confused the pilots, caused the autopilot to disengage, and the other part is the training of the pilots, the competency of the pilots to handle the aircraft at a high altitude. That is a totally different regime as compared to a low altitude. We call it a high altitude jet upset, and it is one of the biggest threats to aviation safety and has been identified by the international body, the ICAO, and it is a mandatory training every 6 months or 1 year that all pilots must undergo high altitude, how to handle an aircraft at high altitudes, because a slight amount of input could produce a 3 times output. So if you give an input, you overcorrect, and that is how that phugoid motion happens. You go up and down, dampening softly. So a turbulence is ruled out because the turbulence is high G maneuver, very jerky, like driving on a cobbled road. But this was a phugoid motion which is oscillating up and down by pilot input. So pilot may have got a false warning that the aircraft speed is too low. As per the training, the pilot pushed the nose down, but he may have overcorrected based on the experience level of the pilot and the panic situation. So if you panic and push, then again you pull back, you again overcorrect, then you push again. So in the process, 300 feet is like a 30-story building.
Absolutely.
And if it happens in a couple of seconds, it is bound to create havoc in the cabin.